Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Teacher Raph. This is another episode of The Matrix. In this episode, I want to talk about Jesus's birth chart, astrological birth chart, and I will provide a couple of examples of people who have rectified birth charts for Jesus that are close to the one that I believe is the true or closest to the truest birth chart that could be calculated. Just by my astrological interpretation of the planets in the chart. If we look at the precession of the equinoxes, it says that it is 1 degree shift approximately every 72 years. So a 30-degree movement requires 2,160 years to complete. So that means that one cycle is 2,160. And what does that signify? It signifies an age, like the Aries age, the Taurus age, the Pisces age, the Aquarian age. But many people generalize and use 2,000 years as the time of an age, which is false. And therefore, the Aquarian age will not happen for another 250, maybe 280 years from now. So if you come to this site, this person believes Jesus was born in 7 BCE, March 1st. So it's close to the date that I am speculating. But what I like that he's writing about is the wise men who followed the star were Magi, Persian astrologers, and that Matthew recounts the tale of the Magi in his gospel. We know this birth to be that of the chosen one. The wisest, most respected scholars on the planet came and told us so. They journeyed to Bethlehem to appoint him and validate his identity, his future in the world. The Magi were not merely the first Gentiles to recognize or accept Jesus. They, in their professional capacity, certify that he was the Christ. If you go to Astro Theme, they have the birth of Jesus very close to the date that I put in. They have February 28th, -6. I have February 26th. My speculation is February 26th instead of the 28th, -6. If you look up Noel Tile, you'll see he just passed away in 2019, December. And he had a chart with the conjunction of Jupiter, Saturn, and Mars in Pisces online. And I had come across it many, many years ago. And it led me to further research. So I just wanted to say a thank you to him for his research in astrology and sharing the information. If we go to this other website and we look at how astronomers may look at the Star of Bethlehem, and you look down here, you'll see that Kepler calculated that a conjunction in Pisces, the sign of Pisces, occurred in 7 BC. And that means that in 7 BC, Jupiter and Saturn formed a conjunction in Pisces. And it lasted for a long time, over a year. And as time progressed, we got to 6 BC, and now Mars joined into that conjunction. Down here, we see that a year later, in 5 BC, a supernova occurred. Some scholars believe that the supernova was a brilliant bright light in the sky in 5 BC. What's important is that it occurred at the zenith of Bethlehem, at a latitude of 31 by 43 degrees north. So some scholars believe that that's what led the Magi to the birth of Christ. If we look at this website, it says, when was Jesus born, BC or 80? It talks about the death of King Herod the Great, 4 BC. So Jesus had to have been born previous to 4 BC, which would have been 5, 6, or 7 BC, the ones in question. And then it talks about who termed these phrases BC and AD, before Christ, before Anno Domini, or before Common Era, as it's also defined as. in terms of the Gregorian and Julian calendars. This article states that a monk came up with the idea, Dionysius Exiguus, but they don't know how he came up with it. This website speculates that Jesus was born in 6 BC, April 17th. And the author goes into his analysis on what that may mean. This is very interesting. The Magi, Persian astronomers, astrologers, probably from Babylonia, shared the Aramaic language with the Jews, and so they knew of the prophecy of the Messiah and would have been well able to predict his birth in time to make the journey to the land of Judah while following the Star of Bethlehem. And remember that these were astrologers, the Magi, and that they believe in using mathematics to calculate the precession of the events in the constellations. And they're looking at not only when, but also where. So a specific alignment, latitude, longitude on the planet. The Star of Bethlehem has been thought to be the triple conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn during the year 7 BC in May, September, and October. This occurred in Pisces, and it is my belief that the Magi realized the significance of this great conjunction in Pisces, a king of kings to be born in the east, and made their preparations for the journey to find the babe and to honor him with gifts. This is the author's birth chart for Jesus, and in this birth chart, because he says the child was born April 17th in 6 BC, he gives the sun sign of Aries in a conjunction with Mars, which personally I disagree with, because anytime you have the sun and Mars in a tight conjunction, it means the person is hyper aggressive. So I definitely disagree with this. And it would mean that the person has a humongous personality with all of these planets in the first house. I disagree with that, because Jesus was a spiritual leader, and sure, he had a personality, but he wasn't some kind of celebrity in the form of a celebrity we might think of in the modern age, which would signify this chart in front of us. So my hypothesis for the birth of Jesus has to do with the Magi being very experienced astrologers looking for signs in the heavens, in the constellations, seeing a conjunction of Saturn, Jupiter, and Mars in the sign of Pisces in 6 BC. And so I put the birth as Gregorian -6, February 26th, Bethlehem, and I also put the time as 3:34 a.m. as the Magi would not only be looking through mathematics and analyzing the time, but also the location, the latitude and longitude on Earth. That's why they would go to Bethlehem from an astrological perspective. I believe that the sun sign is of Pisces, and Jupiter and Saturn and the sun are in a triple conjunction in this chart. And as you can see, the sun is between Jupiter and Saturn. I think that's very significant. Sun and Venus are also in a conjunction, a wide one, but still within 10 degrees. Uranus and Jupiter are together as well, in a conjunction with the sun and Saturn. So look at all of this Piscean energy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 planets in Pisces. This is why I believe this is the closest chart to Christ's birth, because as we all know, the ruler of Pisces is Neptune, and Neptune is sky high in a conjunction with the MC, midheaven, within 5 degrees in Scorpio. Therefore, Christ is known publicly as a spiritual leader, but a martyr. And that is why I have formulated this chart as well. Mars and Pluto are in the 8th house. And they are opposing many of the planets in Pisces, specifically opposing his sun in Pisces and looks like Venus. And I interpret this as the bureaucracy at the time, because the 8th house rules bureaucracies, is in opposition to him, dislikes him, right? Wants to destroy him, and they did destroy him. His 3rd house is still ruled by Pisces and co-ruled by Aries, but ruled by Pisces. And Pisces is the psychic and the prophet. And the ruler is still Neptune in the 10th in a conjunction with the midheaven. So he's known as psychic, miracle worker, ethereal, someone not of this world, right? That's what he's remembered as. That would be all Pisces. And the way he spoke was very mysterious. Sometimes he was very direct, but many times he was very mysterious in his speech. He gave parables. That's Pisces. He was a poet. That's creative thinking. Now, his north node is in the 4th house. The 4th house is the soul, the home, the mother. And remember, Jesus was about the soul, saving your soul. And he had a very beautiful, positive, and spiritual relationship with his mother. And I believe that ties into this chart as well. The ruler of his ascendant, Capricorn, the ruler Saturn, is in the 2nd house in Pisces. And it's in a conjunction with his sun sign. So his sun is controlling the life path, Capricorn. It's controlling the career path, right here by Neptune in the 10th. And it's controlling a lot of other activity in the chart. Jupiter in a conjunction, it would be controlling the 12th house of spiritualism because of Sagittarius. Christ's faith is all about the 2nd house. The 2nd house is your values, what you believe, your talent. And this was all here. Look at all of these planets in Pisces. The state had, the bureaucracy had a lot of say about how he was going to be remembered. He was killed. And the MC is in Scorpio, the 1st degree. And it's ruled by the 8th house of bureaucracy, by Pluto. And this is a modern interpretation because Pluto, astrologically, was not a planet that was looked at in ancient times. Neither was Uranus.